What's good with y'all, man? It's your boy Will back with another video, and today we're gonna be getting into another interesting video topic. Now today I wanted to bring up a topic at hand. As we get into this off season, we start to ramp things up. You know, we about to get into free agency. We got a lot of guys that's been cut, and it's about that time where we need to start establishing who the Browns should or should not bring back. Make sure y'all guys hit that like and subscribe button, guys and gals. Of course, all my links to my descriptions and everything is all down below in the description. I said links to the description. The description is down below. The links to it is to my social media platforms. Y'all know I got my clothing line. I also do got my Instagram and Twitter. If y'all want to support me, I love it. Go ahead and follow me on there. I'll follow you back. Now, getting into Za'Darius Smith. Za'Darius, how did you guys feel about him? I feel like that opposite side of Miles is always a touchy topic because you don't really know how to grade, that edge rushing position. Now, Za'Darius Smith wasn't getting a lot of sacks. And Myles Garrett kind of had a low sack kind of year. So, what does that contribute to? Why is that? Why aren't they getting home? Well, first thing first, looking at the position, we got to figure out, hey, we need a Robin to a Batman. So what does that consist of? It consists of being a solid piece on the opposite side, a respectable piece. Now, looking at Za'Darius Smith, his splits, in September, he didn't have a sack. He didn't get his first sack until October, and he only had one sack in October. Then only 1.5 sacks going into November, and then December he kind of caught up a little bit, got 3 sacks in December. And then if you look at his splits, most of his sacks came within a 0 to 7 point margin. So he had a lot of stats, or not stats, but he had a lot of big key sacks in big close games, which is really important. With him playing in games with us, blowing guys out, he only had 1 sack, which is iffy. And then a lot of his sacks actually did come, a majority came on the road. Looked like he performed a little bit better on the road for whatever reason. He had 0 sacks in games we lost. That's something to really keep in mind. All his sacks came in victories. So there hasn't been a game, I think, where Za'Darius Smith got a sack and the Cleveland Browns lost last year. Really interesting. So when he's playing good and he's on, the Browns are a tough team to beat. Now, is his stats a direct correlation to is he good or not? Because 5.5 sacks is below average. It's not really good. He had, let's go over, he did have 18 solo tackles, 9 assists, 27 combined tackles, 8 tackles for loss, and 20 QB hits. In the wins, he had 18 of those 20 QB hits. And losses, only 2 QB hits on the entire season. So that's very, very, very important. December was by far his best month of the year. In December alone, he had 3 sacks, 5 solo tackles, 1 assist, 6 combined, 3 tackles for loss, and 7 QB hits. Not saying a yearly high, but out of all the months he played, so out of the entire 4 months of the season, December was by far he had his best month with QB hits, sacks, not tackles for loss. That was in November, but he was second with tackle for loss in December. Looking at his numbers, his worst month by far was the month of September. He only had literally 1 solo tackle, 0 sacks, but the Browns did go 2-1 in those games. But you can't really look at Za'Darius Smith's stats as far as, I almost said sacks, but I said stats. You can't really look at that because if you go over to his PFF grade, for those who take PFF seriously, I know a couple people who don't really believe in it. He had an 82.6 PFF grade, very high PFF grade. Still one of the top guys in pass rush win rate. He was pretty much up there as far as run defense and overall pass rushing. I can't see his total pressure rate, but looking at it and going back from the season of 2022, he He had an 82.2 grade in 2022, and he had an 82.6 grade in 2023. It doesn't look like he has took any bit of a step off, or he's not falling behind, despite the fact of him being, 31 years old, about to be 32. He's still a good veteran guy, former Kentucky Wildcat. But with Za'Darius, I think the biggest thing is going to come down to the dollar amount. As long as he's not asking for anything crazy, it's kind of good. It's going to sound a little selfish on my end, but it's kind of good that Za'Darius didn't have a crazy killer year. He had kind of a low statistical year, but his PFF grade was good. But it's not going to be something that gets him a max deal at all. It's pretty much what I'm laying down. I think they could bring back Za'Darius Smith on a 2-year deal, 2 to 3 year deal. Have Za'Darius Smith, Alex Wright, Isaiah McGuire, and Okoronkwo as that edge rushing group, with, of course, Myles Garrett on the start. I think that's a beautiful edge rushing group right then and there. I think if you could get Za'Darius Smith back on a low number and swing hard at that guy that's going to be next to Dalvin Tomlinson, I think you're going to have a very, very difficult defense to deal with, difficult defense to take on. And at home, this Cleveland Browns team, they went 8-1 last year. They're going to be a very, very, very hard team to play at home, to play in Cleveland with a defensive line of that nature that maybe has a guy of the likes of Kristen Wilkes, Za'Darius Smith, Myles Garrett, Dalvin Tomlinson, and then you throw in Alex Wright, Okoronkwo, Jordan Elliott, Siaka Ikea. I can't never say his name, but that's a nasty defensive line group out there. In a division where you need to be good on the defensive line. You need to be. You got the guys in the likes of Joe Burrow. You got the guys in the likes of Lamar Jackson. You got the guys in the likes of, who we want to say for Pittsburgh? I think the best quarterback over there is probably Mason Rudolph. But, I mean, Mason Rudolph he's going to sack himself, so who gives a fuck? So, not worried about Pittsburgh. But Za'Darius Smith, I do think he should be back on the Browns. I would like him back. As long as he's not asking for nothing ridiculous, I would fully expect him to be back. I'd say it's probably like a 70% chance. 70-30 he comes back, don't come back. I would prefer to have that defensive line group that I just said over drafting the edge rusher. I think bringing in a free agent DT, re-signing Za'Darius Smith would be the two best ways to handle it, or bringing in like a linebacker. But keep drafting on the offensive side of the football, and then draft at the positions that's going to start to get expensive. We're good at safety. We're good at corner. Of course, we're going to draft a corner every year. So beefing up that DT room and bringing all our guys back healthy should be the key for the Cleveland Browns. But you guys let me know how y'all feel about it. I'm not too much of a contract savvy type of guy, so I'm not going to give y'all what I think his contract should be. I would assume it's going to be anywhere from between 8 and probably like 14 million. Maybe you could get him on like a, I don't know, maybe like a 2-year 36. Nah, it's probably too much. Probably like a 3-year, $36 million deal, something like that, with a team option at the end of the second, or a void year in there, something of that nature. But like I said, I'm not whatsoever a salary cap guy, so don't take my word for that specific amount. But like I said, I do think Za'Darius Smith will be a good fit. I do think he'll end up back. You guys comment down below what y'all think, if y'all want him back. And another big thing to talk about, though, with Za'Darius Smith is, if you don't want Za'Darius Smith back, who can you go out there and replace him with that's going to bring in about his production? Because I think with his production, his continuity, him already being with the team, I think you're going to pretty much get what you're looking for in Za'Darius Smith. So I like replacing him. Like, if it's not for like a slam dunk guy, or if you're not letting him walk to get like Chris Jones or Aaron Donald, I don't really see the purpose of it. It's almost just like Jed Wills. Like, you can let Jed Wills walk, but who's going to play left tackle? You know, you could let Za'Darius Smith walk, but do you want to risk having Alex Wright be your starter? And then if you let him walk, where's that money going to go to? What big swing are you going to take? So it's a lot of options to be had. It's definitely a lot for Andrew Berry to digest. I think he'll do what Andrew Berry does and do great things with his rosters. We're going to see who this Cleveland Browns team land this offseason. They get a big fish usually every year. And the likes of Deshaun Watson, Amari Cooper, Za'Darius Smith, Dalvin Tomlinson, and so on and so forth. They've been big fish getters in the offseason. So we're going to see what they get. Maybe Za'Darius Smith is at expense to getting a big guy. Maybe he's along with him. We shall see. But it's your boy Will, man. Just dropping this video for you guys. I'm going to start getting into the mock draft. I haven't done one yet, only because I'm not too familiar with this group. But I'm going to start doing a mock draft and breaking down these receivers. And yeah, comment down below. Hit that sub button. Appreciate you. I'm out. Peace.